Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of eHeroes. For those keeping count, this is episode 387, and my next guest hasn't been with us for about 2 years. His last appearance was episode 275 when we talked about the rise of AI. So I'm bringing back Manuj Aggarwal, and we're going to talk about AI. And I tell you what, there has been so much progress in the last 2 years that the rise of AI is upon us.
Yeah, yeah.
We talked about it 2 years ago, but it's here, it's now, and
Mhm.
I think a lot of people are still scared.
Yes, yes, yes. And to tell you the truth, like we have basically just started in this whole AI journey. This wave of technology is going to be much bigger than internet, much bigger than the smartphone, and it's very disruptive because never before in human history there has been a technology that helps us think or like works at the mind level, right?
Mm.
Every other technology is a physical enhancement. So I can understand why people are scared. And, Hollywood movies have not made it easy for people to like kind of grasp what this is.
No, but I think AI has more, well, not say more, but it's simplified things, especially in the medical field. You know,
Yeah.
you in the past we would get sick and we would Google our illness, and Google
Yeah.
says you're about to die. AI pinpoints exactly what it is that
Yeah,
you're suffering from.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
and and so it's well, granted that you're not gonna fear as much, but at least you understand what's wrong with you.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and that's the beauty of AI, and but it goes beyond that. I mean, I was just at Disney World, and I love Disney, and
Yeah.
they have AI built into a lot of their processing, their data. They can go into their computer and pinpoint the psychology behind the exact person and why they bought
Yeah,
tickets
yeah,
to
yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah,
to me, that's
exactly. Exactly.
fascinating because now you got this flood of information. What are you gonna do with it? The human brain can't comprehend this so fast. AI
Exactly.
can pump it out in 3 seconds, and
Yeah, yeah.
I just think that is just incredible.
Yes. And it's going to get smarter and smarter and more powerful. The world as we know it is going to change.
Yeah.
Um, the small other another example you mentioned Disney World. Like if you go to Phoenix or San Francisco, there are driverless cars all over the place, and people spook out like, "Oh, this car is driving without the driver. Like, is it going to be safe and whatnot?" But it's actually safer than human drivers.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
the timing, the reflex, the we think about driving, we've got our peripheral vision, but with autonomous cars, they got cameras all the way around
Yes.
360. They're processing that at incredible
Yes.
speeds, and
Yes.
granted, AI or autonomous vehicles do have accidents.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not about the vehicle. Maybe
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
about something that they just couldn't process at the moment. Well, it
Yeah.
happens with humans too.
Mhm. Plus, plus, remember they are in the sea of humans. So
Yeah,
it when the accident happens, it may be that the automated driver figured out what to do, but the human still couldn't cope with it. So you
yeah.
know,
So you made some patents, or you patent some ideas, and in AI.
yeah.
You know, has that helped?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my patents were related more towards like how humans learn. So the first patent was about adaptive learning because in every classroom, every student gets the same curriculum, but
Hmm.
we know every student is different. So when I was working on that, of course, the technology and algorithms were good to understand, but the key insight that I learned was about human mind, human psychology,
Hmm.
that everybody is different and everybody learns at a different pace and everybody has a different knowledge because of their background, and that was the key insight. The next few patents were in medical field. Again, the science and technology and the algorithms were very interesting, very complicated, but understanding the human being, how our body functions, how I didn't even know that our 2 feet, the same person, our 2 feet, they are not the same size. not the same exact shape. So when we were building these custom orthotics with very complex algorithms, we had to take very, very minute measurements of feet, or both feet of a patient, and they were not same. And we had to like kind of like adjust for that. So when I look at now what people are doing with AI, all they understand is, oh, this is good to create social media posts. But if you have a really deep context of humans,
Mhm.
about yourself, about who you are talking to, how the mind actually interfaces with this technology, that's a huge advantage that most people will take years to actually understand.
Yeah, one of the things that I've done over the last couple of years using AI is that I've infused it with my personality. So it's reviewed a lot of my videos. It's reviewed a lot of my books. It knows my Robisms. And sometimes in the morning, it'll argue with me and says, "Rob, that's not the best way to do things." And I'm like, "Ugh, punch this," and it's like I've trained this thing so well that it knows me, and I'm like, okay, I could just step away and have him run the company because that's
Yeah,
how much that we're putting into into AI, and
yeah.
I think that scares a lot of people because they don't want to be cloned. They don't want to have their ideas given to a machine.
Mm.
I think
Well, yeah. So let's do a reframe. We are already giving our ideas to machines. We just don't know it yet, right? So if you use Google Maps to go from point A to point B, what do you think they are doing? They are actually capturing your data.
yeah.
When you log into Facebook, I mean, Facebook is a prime example of you are the product.
Hmm.
So they are capturing your data, they're understanding your behavior, and then they're selling it to their advertisers. And Mark Zuckerberg has $200 billion in his bank account. So people don't realize it that they are giving away stuff, and in this case, if they don't give it, then they will repent it later. Just like when we were talking about before the interview, in
Hmm.
1995 or 94, when the website became popular,
Yeah.
people who did not get on board, they are now clamoring to create a website and get into Google. And right now, since it's new technology, people are scared, but in 10 years they're going to say, oh man, like I wish I created more content and I was in AI. uh, those type of things, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's been something that I've been preaching for a long time. You got to create your own content. You got to have your thoughts and your personality in it. And whether you're creating blogs, whether you're creating, podcasts or being on podcasts or creating books or, whatever content you're putting out there,
Yeah,
you got to do it consistently.
yeah, yeah,
And the AI is going to pick that up. It's going to learn from you. It's going to cross index everything to give it a bitter, well, not a bigger picture of who you are. And sometimes there are mistakes. There's I know there's another Rob Anspach out there because when I Google myself or I have other people go, he's a wrestler. I've never wrestled in my life. It's like, and it says marketer, author, wrestler. So I have to go in and tell the AI, "Hey, I'm not the Rob Anspach. That's a
yeah,
wrestling
yeah,
coach. I just,
yeah.
and finally, it's starting to decipher the two of us,
Hmm.
and I think that's people with common names. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go in and tell the AI, hey, these are the qualities that make me who I am. This is my personality. This is where I've worked, um, and all these things. And finally, it'll start to learn that. But
yeah,
you know, for those that have unique names, it's not a
yeah,
problem.
yeah. Maybe start changing names now.
I have to change my name.
Just like Elon Musk's, I think he named his
It's
kid something.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's weird.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, but you're going above and beyond. You're not just teaching people, hey, write blogs, write doing this. You're getting them to integrate who they are,
yeah, yeah,
their humanity, what makes them who they are,
yeah,
into an AI model.
yeah.
And the way you teach, the way you coach people is beyond the understanding of what most people think it is.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what I was trying to explain, right? Like once you work with humans, once you understand the psychology, neuroscience of it, it's actually a neuroscience problem when you work with AI. So when you're working with AI, it actually it's interacting with your mind in a deeper way,
Hmm.
and it's filling your mind with data that it produces. So think of it as a fuel for your mind. Data is fuel for your mind. So when you're interacting with an intelligent entity like this, it's meeting you where you are.
Hmm.
And then if you're negative, if, most people are negative, it's actually going to um, continue to reinforce that negativity. So it's actually forming your belief systems and all of that. It's a much deeper discussion. I can go into that, but you're right. People don't truly understand what this technology is. Not only people who are mainstream AI users or so-called experts, but even at the highest levels. Because I go into these rooms where executives from OpenAI are there and Anthropic are there, Microsoft. They are very logical. They know these algorithms very deeply, but most people do not have any comprehension of the human side of things and how they interact. So that's the bridge I build.
You're bridging humanity with technology, and I think that's awesome.
Mhm.
They say that most humans only use about 5% of their brain. Well, if you can train your AI model to think like you, to act like you, to pull information or ideas out, yeah, maybe you're still using 5% of your brain, but now you have this system that's operating 24/7. That
No,
can,
no. Let me step back. You then expand your mental capacity to 200, 300, 400%. Okay, and then this is what happened. This is true. You start making decisions which are much higher level decisions than you think you are capable of right now. So
Mhm.
imagine that all of a sudden you get a call that you are now CEO of Fortune 500 company. You have all the budget, you have the resources. Your decision making capacity immediately flips and you make higher level decisions, right?
Mhm.
But most people stay at that level because they do not think they qualify to go to the next level. So this is a kind of like a, it's almost like I say it's a steroid without the negative consequences of for your mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was going through a a client's information and I threw it all into AI. And I kept telling my client, "Look, you got to raise your prices. You got to raise your price." And he was very hesitant. I said, "Look, this is what the AI is telling you to do, and it mirrors everything that I said. And this is where your prices should be, which are almost 75% higher." And he goes, "Oh, I'm not going to do that because then I'll lose business." I said, "Try it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Try what the AI is telling you to do because your market will bear it." So
Hmm,
he took his prices up just to experiment. I guess he wanted to just prove that I was wrong.
yeah, yeah,
And the customers were paying it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And it was like, oh. So, AI can be used for lots of different things, but when it knows your system, when it knows you, when it can act like you, why are you going to argue with it and say, "Look, I don't agree," because it's you.
yeah, 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 yeah.
No, it's just, to me, it boggles my mind that people aren't embracing AI the way they should. And look, we can go back and we can use all kinds of examples. I mean, even going back 10, 15 years ago when we had all these programs to create graphics. People, "Oh, that we can't do that."
Yeah, yeah,
Why not? That's
yeah.
speeding things up, making things easier. I mean,
Mhm.
and if you go back even further, you got carpenters who would refuse to use power tools.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
to
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
AI is a fantastic tool. I think a lot of people fear that because they think it's more. But to me, it's a way for me to get a lot of stuff done in a short amount of time, and then I can go out and enjoy life.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But then you have people sitting at their desk for 10 hours a day, I'm like, you probably could have gotten it all done in,
Yeah.
an hour using AI.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely. See, let me explain this from a perspective of what's happening. So, people who hesitate, they want to maintain control over their life, over their agency, over their skill, and it's a deeper problem because they are losing control elsewhere in their life.
mhm.
Okay, so they have a kind of like last resort areas of life where they maintain control, and this is the kind of work I do because this is going deep inside there. So once somebody sits down with me, so what we do is we create a digital twin of you. It's like your deeper inner voice, not at the surface level, not logically what you do, raise your prices. No, it actually starts to monitor your nervous system and your subconscious patterns,
Wow.
and then it says, hey, what is your goal in life? Where do you want to be? Okay, I want to retire in 5 years. Okay, let's analyze why you are hesitant to raise prices. I see a pattern. You were raised in a family where money was, not abundant, and you were, the fourth child of, you had three older brothers. So this is what I'm reading in your psychology, that you want to maintain control and you're afraid somebody's going to take something from you. Let's address that first. Let's get rid of that energy out of your system. Okay. So it's like, it's a true partnership with humans and AI, going deep inside you and taking out all the garbage that we collect. It's like, I call it a vacuum cleaner for your mind. 90% of what we have in our minds is garbage,
Mhm.
given to us by society, given to us by parents, given to us by people around us, right? And that garbage, it controls our life, and it's very, very difficult to get rid of that garbage because we don't see it, but
Mhm.
we carry it all day long. So that's the ultimate, kind of unlock of value, because what happens is when you unlock these garbage things, immediately your intrinsic value goes up. Like, I've seen people multiply their income up to 500% in 3 months.
Wow. Yeah, it's yeah, we have been programmed. I mean, we look at the news, we look at social media, we look at what our friends are doing, and we develop these preconceived notions of
Yeah,
what life is or what life should be,
yeah,
and we convince ourselves, oh, we can't do something.
correct, exactly,
Strip all that out, and we can do whatever we want. And
exactly.
Walt Disney, he built an empire. In 1955, he built Disneyland, and all his Imagineers were like, we're not going to argue with him. We're just going to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And he
yeah,
would never tell them exactly how to do something.
yeah,
They would just have to figure it out because
yeah,
he didn't want them to say no. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
when you start to say no, it's like, okay, well, you just diminished your ability to
yeah, yeah,
perform.
yeah,
Figure it out. And
yeah,
and
exactly.
and maybe you have been beaten down so much in society, but that doesn't mean you can't change.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I, granted, there's millionaires or people that became millionaires in their 60s and 70s because they took away all the garbage out of their mind and just did something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I will say one thing. We all have garbage. Even the millionaires have garbage. I've
Yeah,
been,
that's true.
I even talk to billionaires. They have garbage in their mind as well. It's just that we don't realize it. The amount of money in our bank account is not, there has no correlation with garbage, but it does keep us stuck where we are,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So if we are happy where we are, no problem, carry that garbage. But if we want to progress, if we want to go further, then the taking out the garbage makes the progress effortless, because, as you said, it's just about realizing, hey, I can do this. I mean, we met through our common mentor, Steve Sims.
Yeah.
and his mantra is just do it, like,
Right.
just like,
Do it.
yeah, you just just ask. Nobody asks
I
and
remember
nobody gets.
I remember sitting down with Steve in 2016, maybe. I had interviewed him before that, but we were in LA. My wife and I were in LA to do something, and we just happened to have lunch with him. And he's making fun of all the celebrities that are walking by, and he was asking me about pricing, and he looks at me, he goes, "Why aren't you charging more?"
Mhm.
And I'm like, "I don't know. Why aren't I?"
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And so I started doing it, and no resistance. And it was just weird because he just came out and said it, and I knew I needed to do it.
Yeah,
I just hadn't done it.
yeah,
And it's funny because it was something I always told other people to do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we always say others to do something that we don't do. Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
but what was your first experience when you got into an autonomous car?
Uh I've been looking forward to this. Like, actually, so I'm a tech guy. I see 5 years out what is going to happen, right? So I'm anxiously waiting for, I think this is going to happen. Okay, and I say these things and people look at me like, what the hell is this guy smoking, right? And and then internally I know that this is where the technology is going. I talk to people who are working on it. They don't want to say anything, but I know what's happening. So for me, it's like, oh, finally it's here. Like, I'm excited now. And now I'm like, I cannot wait for the day when people are off the streets and everything is like kind of automated. I'm looking forward to that. Like, because for me, I sat in it and I was just noticing, hey, how accurate this is, how it responds to unexpected conditions on the road,
Mhm.
right? And it's flawless, it's perfect. It's like, it's mind blowing how it operates. And in human, there is no way human can match that,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And now it's like, the next phase is, in my opinion, in the next 5 to 10 years, it's actually going to be illegal for humans to drive on the street. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, it would save us so much money on insurance, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 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 absolutely,
I know
absolutely.
that. I know that Elon Musk is turning a lot of his fleet into autonomous vehicles
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because he sees it. People get in his cars and they just act stupid.
yeah, yeah,
He's like, well, let's take the stupidity out of it and just give them a vehicle that it's all autonomous.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what's your future predictions for things? I mean, uh, I look at social media and I'm thinking that, yeah, it was designed for a purpose to capture more eyeballs on the screen. Great, but people are getting tired of it. People
Mhm,
are really looking at humanity again.
mhm.
Interacting, going out to events and seeing each other, and so where does that merge into AI?
Yeah. So that's what my work is all about, right? So, see, this may sound weird, but this is what's going to happen. The price of commodities and services and products will drop to near zero.
Hmm.
The income levels will rise. That means most people will not have to work. Okay, the definition of work is about to change in the next 10, 15 years or so, or something along those lines, or maybe sooner, who knows. But as you know, if we our identity is tied to work as humans,
Hmm.
so we will start to lose our sense of identity. Initially it will be really good that, hey, I don't have to work. But let's step back. Let me give you a complete picture if you want to handle it properly. So as automation rises, companies are going to start laying off people,
Hmm.
and there's going to be quite a bit of unemployment. Okay. And uh, if governments don't handle it well, there can be social unrest, and we see a lot of that happening around the world in various ways right now. Eventually the governments will have to cave in, and they will have to say, just like during COVID, okay, we will give you money, don't make a problem. So that will be universal basic income. So people will start getting money, and work will become optional and prices of commodities will go down. Now people will start to look for meaning in their life.
Hmm.
Okay, what is my purpose? Who am I? How do I build communities? How do I network? Because ideal mind is is a path to destruction.
Yeah. And
So we will.
I was just watching that episode on Star Trek Next Generation where they talk about income and nobody gets paid.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
do it because it gives them purpose in life,
yeah, exactly.
you know.
So when I say we work with the humans, we actually work with the digital twin in such a way that it helps a person discover their purpose, because most people don't even know what the hell, why they are doing what they are doing. Okay, so whether in a individual's life or a group environment, so let's say if you're working with your team, you can define your purpose for your team, and then you shift your identity towards who do you need to become to actually accomplish that purpose.
Hmm.
Who do you need in your community to be able to help you accomplish that purpose?
Right.
How do when you said like people are hesitant to take action, the hesitation is about not what to do, but what if I fail? It's the anxiety of the future outcome.
Right.
So what we do is we give them micro steps that they can take with very little risk, and that gets the momentum going. So we basically use AI to model human experience and bolt on top of them, almost like an Iron Man suit that gets them to their destination faster, easier, more fun, less anxiety, less stress, all of
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. We talk about that vision, and I think a lot of people are like, well, wait a minute, if AI and maybe robots are going to basically do all the work, what am I supposed to do? Do I stand around and paint all day? And I'm like, there's been so many changes in the last 50 years. I'll be 57 this year, but
I thought
you
you were
know,
17.
I I look at my parents and my grandparents and all the technological advances that have occurred over the last 100 years, and maybe we don't do some of the skills that we used to. And I'm certainly glad of that because you look at old pictures and women are sewing all the clothes. Well, they don't have to do that anymore, or they're out there hunting their food every day. We don't have to do that anymore. There are things that have made our lives easier, and I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just you know I don't want to be hand washing my clothes all day long either. That's what we're clothes washer, clothes dryer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We've devised things that make life easier. Are we still going to be full of stress and anxiety? I hope not. Not in 50 years, but we're going to have a whole new set of problems to deal
Yeah,
with.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely,
So
absolutely. Humans will never. That's a history of every invention. It solves one problem but creates two more.
yeah.
And that's the whole cycle of evolution.
Mhm.
Because every time humans solve one problem, there is another one to be solved, and that's creates motivation for people to find solutions to that problem.
Yeah. I mean, I think by the time that all the work is taken over by robots and AI, I'll be long gone anyway.
No, no, no. I don't think work will go away. The how can we say, the obligation to work will go away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you are an enterprising person, if you're an entrepreneurial person, if you're an ambitious person, you will have opportunities to work, make more money. So there's going to be classes of people making gazillion dollars, and people basically at the middle class will be the lowest class,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. It's funny because you look back in time and when computers were first starting to hit the scene for households, everybody said, wow, they're not going to amount to anything. A whole industry sprang up.
Yeah.
It's made work-life balance better, faster.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, AI is just the next, you know, evolution of that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Exactly.
and yet we're all scared of it. And now there's Hollywood studios that are creating content just from AI.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And now the industry is up in arms because what are the actors going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, get real jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not just we have competition. Now we have competition. It's the AI that can think faster and do things better. You
That's
know,
true, and it's going to get much, much, much difficult to compete
yeah.
in that logical aspect. Because see, our economy, if you think about it, our economy is based on logical part of our mind. So if somebody has a problem, we use our logical mind to figure out a solution to that.
Mhm.
But that's a commodity now, right? So our ability to understand, empathize, listen. Actually, listening is become going to become a very, very powerful skill. Just like you have speakers, I think there's going to be a role called listener.
Oh, I'll take that one. I'll just say,
Yeah.
"Ugh, get 5 grand just to listen.
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
do that all day long. No, but what are some of the opposing thoughts that you get when you're out there speaking and you're talking to these scientists and these millionaires,
yeah.
billionaires? Are they scared or are they embracing it?
It's a mix of everything, right? It's a mix of everything. Most people are cautious. And the primary thing that they bring up is privacy, hallucinations, um, losing control,
Mhm.
job loss. These are the usual objections, right? But when I get into conversations with them, I I always find that the fear that they are coming up with is some personal experience that's creating that fear from their past, like past experiences. So job loss, obviously they may be worried about their kids, they may be worried about the time that they were laid off, they were whatever, right? But as you said, people do not look at the opportunities because their paradigms have not shifted yet. So when I tell them, hey, so let's say you're making $100,000 in your job. What is your ultimate goal? Oh, I want to like go to the CEO level. I'll probably make a $500,000 and I'll have many more vacations. Okay, so you are now right now a director level. When do you think you'll reach the CEO level? Okay, probably it'll take me like 20 years of hard work, right? So, but let's say if you get an assistant tomorrow who can do a lot of your work and you can increase your capacity and your output, do you think you can reach to the CEO level faster? Oh yeah, I mean that'll be amazing, right? And now it starts to connect the dots. The second thing is a lot of people say, oh, I will retire. Even then, if I retire, like I won't have enough money. And then entrepreneurship is going to become a mainstream profession because think about it. Entrepreneurship is about solving people's problems
Mhm.
independently. But if you are disciplined, if you have the ability to bring the resources together and solve people's problem, then that's the profession that people want to adopt. But entrepreneurship needs to hire other people, offices, infrastructure. It needs investment and resources and your ability to convince people, and that's what people do not have all the time, right? But now everybody is an Einstein, everybody is an Elon Musk, everybody is Jeff Bezos. So that barrier of entry is gone. So if you want to stay in a job that will ultimately make you $500,000, or you can launch a company that will get you $500,000 next year,
Mhm.
you can take your pick. So when you start to frame these ideas and make them see what is happening and how their life is going to evolve, then you leave it with them. It's their choice to take that path or not. And even then, people say, no, I understand what you're saying, but I will let other people go first. And that's their, that's their decision.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess that's hard for people because again, they're losing control, and you know, maybe sometimes they're losing purpose.
Correct.
We as humans have to have some type of purpose, I believe,
Yeah.
to keep going on in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And if
Absolutely.
we give it all to the AI, what is our purpose anymore?
Yeah. And
And
that's where when we work with AI, the very first thing I do when we work with either individuals or companies, we refine their purpose and we plug that in as a North Star into their personal AI.
mhm,
So that every decision, everything that AI is going to produce is aligned with one single North Star goal.
you know, the other day I made a video because I was researching Uber. And I think this is the same problem in Lyft too, is that the drivers, you know, would as soon as a customer would come in, into their Uber or use the app, they would tell the customer to decline the service and pay them cash because they
Mm-hmm.
said Uber wasn't paying them enough. Well,
Mm-hmm.
look, if you're an Uber driver, you've already contacted or contracted with Uber, you've accepted their terms, you know that they're going to take a cut. So now not only are you cheating the system, but you're telling the client, "Hey, just pay me cash. Nobody's going to know, but they're not going to be tracked. They're not going to be protected by insurance. They're not it's just a risk." And having these autonomous vehicles, there is no in exchange.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah, yeah,
talking. There's no they're not going to tell you, "Hey, cancel it, so I'm going to get cash," because and you're going to feel safe.
yeah, yeah,
So to me, I think there needs to be more safety features out there. AI is going to do a great job with autonomous vehicles. Granted, I think also the law firms are going to try to figure out, hey, who's responsible if there's an accident. They're
yeah,
going to
yeah,
they're early on they're blaming AI, which
yeah,
eh, it's going to happen. I think you're going to have that in any industry. But once the safety protocols are put in place, I think it's going to be just a commonplace for people, and they're going to
yeah,
feel safe doing it.
yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly.
And now it's going to put a lot of Uber drivers and Lyft drivers out of business. I
There
think.
are 10 million jobs in US alone, driving jobs.
Yeah.
They're gonna be, this is what I'm talking about. This is going to be the short term pain,
Mhm.
and short term pain for a lot of people, unfortunately. But those jobs are going to be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, the majority of people don't use their car that often anyway, and yet they're paying.
Not even cars. Like we are talking about, like big haul trucks, like
Mhm.
long distance trucks, like trailers, those type of things. Think about ports. I mean, ships, mega ships are being run by one person right now.
Yeah.
So like it's a very very big disruption coming.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think those that have the ability to understand AI are going to make money. Those
Yeah,
that fear it are going to be the ones that ultimately lose their job.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's not fair, but the thing is that we have to learn to adapt.
It's not going to happen overnight. You can, like, we have seen this play out many times. Like, let's just stick to the internet. Like, we are both a product of the internet, if we can put it that way, right? Now some people still are way behind in technology, but their life carries on. They figure out something else. It's just that they haven't tapped into the global internet economy,
Mhm. Well,
right?
last year I wrote a book called Legacy, and most
Mm,
people, when they're talking about their legacy, think about, what kind of money am I going to leave behind to the next generation?
mm,
To me, it's not about money, it's about knowledge. What am I passing on to the next generation? And if
mm,
AI is already absorbing everything that they know about Rob Anspach, that just makes it a lot easier to pass that
correct.
knowledge on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Exactly.
as we know, you pass on money, and within the first generation, the second generation, the money's gone. I
Yeah, yeah,
pass
yeah.
on knowledge, it's gonna be there forever,
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
these are things that we're training AI now on.
Yeah,
Who am I? What do I do? What do I stand for? Where does my moral compass point? All these things. But, once the AI understands that, they know, "Hey, Rob, this is how I can help you. This is the direction I can think you're gonna go in. This is what we're gonna do together to make money."
yeah,
Great,
yeah,
you know? But I think there's also people that they don't know the questions to ask an AI, so they get generic results. They they don't wanna spend the time to figure it out, to train it, and then they get
mhm.
mad because, "Oh, it doesn't work."
So this is the funny part. It actually, you have the knowledge on what to ask the question. This is where, it's a little bit trippy, what I do, because it starts to interface with you. It starts to extract
Mhm.
the knowledge from inside you that will help you to ask the right question and all of that. So when you look at AI, when you truly start to understand it, it's actually a way for you to unpack your own mind. It's actually a way to clarify your own mind. And when you start doing it, it it's an exponential impact, because now you get smarter by using AI, which gets smarter by interacting with you, and so on and so forth. So it's like you know um, uh, a give and take uh, interaction.
Well, it's also like a super psychologist because it's also
Yeah,
gonna pull out all the things that maybe that you've forgotten
yeah,
or that have overwhelmed you or made you have anxiety over the years. It's gonna extrapolate all that and say, "Look, this is the workaround," or "This is how you should do it. Don't be afraid." And it'll show you the way. And so I think there's going to be jobs out there, even psychologist jobs, that may be eliminated because AI already knows how to fix you.
yeah, yeah,
So to me, it's fascinating because here we are talking about humanity. And people are afraid that AI is going to overcome humanity. The next Terminator age. To me, it's not like that. To me, it's humanity's gonna benefit because of what AI can do for humanity.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
not
Exactly.
attack humanity.
Correct. Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm actually looking at your shirt right now, and not the one that you're wearing, but the one that on your website that says "I love AI."
Yeah, yeah,
Because you're right there in front of people, and you're telling them, "Hey, these are all the things you're gonna accomplish with AI," and they don't
yeah,
believe you.
yeah.
Just
That's, I mean, it just takes time. That's just human nature, you know. Um, like I remember in 1996, you know, I I logged into the internet for the first time in 1996, and in 1998, I wanted to apply for a job, entry level job, and they said, "Oh, if you don't have an email address, if you don't have Word resume, then you can't apply." In 2 years, how the world changed, right?
yeah.
And we said, like, 2 years ago we talked about it, about the rise of AI, and now it's like, oh, nobody can have a conversation without mentioning AI. But this is still the beginning. This is still the beginning. So people have to uh, start making choices when they want to jump in, and when it starts to hurt them more than to stay on the sideline, right?
Mhm.
So that's the individual decision.
Well, last year I took my mother-in-law to France to celebrate her 80th birthday,
Wow.
and while we were in the airport, I think it was the Paris airport, a girl had come up to me and I glanced over and she's asking me questions about what flavor Dunkin' Donuts or something because I guess she's never had one, and she's looking on ChatGPT, and I said, "Wow, okay, you're utilizing AI to figure it out." She said, "Yeah, I hate Google." I said, "We don't use
Mm.
Google over here. We use AI." So Europe's already embraced a lot of this before America has. Now I know you're up in Canada, but you know, has Canada embraced it better or worse than the United
It's the
States?
same. It's the same. I don't find any difference. Like I go to places and different demographics, different nationalities. What makes a difference is when they find somebody trusted who can guide them.
Hmm.
So when I guide them and I say, hey, just sit down with me for 15 minutes, let's try it out, and then slowly, make it like kind of not intimidating,
Hmm.
and then they start to settle in, and then they call me 6 months later, oh my god, like my life has changed, blah blah blah. I'm like, see, I told you. So that is the difference. This is where, any new thing that comes along, if we have a trusted person to guide us,
Hmm.
then it becomes easier.
Hmm. Yeah, and you know, you're making it so much easier for a lot of people to understand AI. And it's not, to me, you know, we talk about AI as artificial intelligence, but it's getting to the point where I don't think it's no longer artificial because it's based on who we are, what we do, and how we do it.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
more
true
like,
reflection of you. One thing I will mention is everybody should understand this. It's a true reflection of you as a human being.
hmm.
Whatever you are inside, it is going to amplify it. And the thing is, you will not truly understand unless you kind of like step aside and look at it from a third angle, and then you will say, oh, this is why I'm not able to raise my prices. Oh, because if you just go, what I call AI, the raw AI, the open AI, the chat GPT, Gemini, I call it crude AI, just
Hmm.
like crude oil. Okay, so when you use crude oil, you cannot put that in your car, it is going to destroy it. But the problem is that most people put crude AI into their mind.
Hmm.
We need to put a filter in that helps them personalize that AI so that it understands them at a deeper level and brings them out of any negativity that they are in right now in real time as it is interacting with you. So when that happens, the human life experience starts to improve. So imagine a technology that can improve your human experience and help you achieve your highest potential, which you don't even realize that yet.
Hmm. Well, you got me, which is Rob, and then you have refined Rob.
Yeah.
So, you know, take your pick. You know,
Yeah,
it's
the super intelligent genius version of refined Rob, right? Who never forgets anything, who continues to learn, all of that.
although you know, there's things I would love to forget.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but the you know, it's just to me, it's AI is just fascinating right now. Watching it grow, watching it scare people.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
You know, and you know, the 2 years since you were last on here, so many things have changed. And you know, you talk about crude AI. You know, when it started coming out with graphics, people would have mangled fingers. They just didn't know how to create, you know, real artwork. And now you type in, you know, tell Google or not Google, you tell any of the AIs to produce graphics, and they're almost lifelike.
yeah, 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 yeah,
You know, so it's learning. You know,
yeah,
it's adapting. You know, but then you also have people that maybe actresses or actors who don't want their images, you know, reused. Well, you know, Disney just made a deal with what was it, OpenAI, you know, for billions of dollars. All their stuff's going to be on there that people can use. And we're getting into some, you know, I think we were getting into some murky waters with trademark laws and everything. But a lot of these companies are embracing it because they realize that if people are using their images, their products, their IP, they're going to be more inclined to go buy it or, you know, go to Disney World or you know, download a movie.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, yes, maybe we're worried about certain things that haven't happened, but some of these businesses are saying, "Hell with it. Let them use it." And
I think even the intellectual property laws will have to be modified.
yeah, Yeah, because people are creating stuff now using AI. Who owns it? Do they own it because they created it? And I think that's what people are arguing. They're saying, "Well, AI created it." Yeah, but we instructed on what to do. You know, uh, the pen wrote the thing, but I
Yeah,
actually, made it do the stuff.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
it's now even Amazon, when you put books up, they're asking, "Was this created by AI?" Who
yeah, yeah,
cares? Yeah, I think a lot of the trademark laws are going to have to be changed.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, how do people get in contact you? Where do they go?
Yeah, go. I mean, I'm easy to find. Just Google my name or go to my website, Manuj Aggarwal. It's not easy to pronounce or spell.
That's about as
Just
easy as mine.
take a yeah, take a screenshot or something, or find me on LinkedIn, or just get in touch with Rob. He's also everywhere. So we all are part of the same community. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
If you really want to, you know, I think be limitless in your thinking. Um, contact Manuj right now. And have them go through your what do you call it? AI behavior. What is it the system that
so
you
the public brand that we are working with is called Inner Voice,
hmm
because it's actually you
yeah,
talking to yourself. The protocol underneath that, it's a scientifically validated protocol, so it got published in a science journal.
nice.
It's called AI merge, so meaning we are merging with AI. So some people may find it scary. There is no chips being planted, or there is no, like, nothing like that. But it's your mind adapting to AI. So that's the protocol. And then on top of that, we create this inner voice, which makes you hear that intuitive voice that you all have much more clearly.
hmm So AI merge. I
Yeah.
think you're gonna love it. Because it's not a pill. It's not a fancy prescription. It's you enhanced to the point where, you know, like I said, limitless possibilities.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
go find Manuj over on Facebook. His company is Tetranoodle. You can find him on his website, and then I'll put the links down.
Yeah.
And thank you, Manuj, and thank you
Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you.
for
Thank you.
coming back, and for everyone else, we'll see you on the next episode. Adios.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.